You know, every single time you open your browser or click on a link or watch a video, there's this quiet, kind of invisible conversation happening in the background. It's a dialogue that powers the entire internet, but it happens so fast we almost never stop to think about it. Today, we're going to listen in.
Right? Think about that for a second. You type in a web address, you hit enter, and for just a split second, there's nothing. It feels like this little pause, but in that silence, a whole chain of events is kicking off. So what is actually going on in that moment?
Well, it's the start of a conversation. Your computer, which we call the client, sends a request, and somewhere out there on the internet, a server gets that message and sends back a response. This simple back and forth is the fundamental heartbeat of the web. And it's all governed by a set of rules, a protocol called HTTP. That's the Hypertext Transfer Protocol. And learning the basic grammar of this protocol is surprisingly empowering. It helps you understand why web pages load the way they do, what's happening when you fill out a form, and yeah, even what that 404 not found page actually means. All of a sudden, the magic starts to make a whole lot of sense.
So let's start with the first half of this chat, the request. Probably the simplest way to think about an HTTP request is to picture it as a digital postcard. You're sending a message to a server asking for something. And just like a real postcard, it needs a clear address and a clear message.
So every single request has three main parts. First, you've got the method. That's the verb, what you're asking the server to do. Most of the time, you're just asking to get something. Second is the resource. That's the noun, the specific page or image you actually want. And finally, you have headers, which are kind of like a PS on your postcard, adding extra info, like what kind of browser you're using.
Okay, so how does the server know where to find the thing you want? Well, that's the job of the URL. The URL is the full, complete address on your digital postcard. Every single part of it helps guide your request to the exact file or program it needs to find on that server. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Not all requests are the same. The two most common types you're going to run into are GET and POST. And to really get the difference, we could just stretch your analogy a little bit. Are you sending a public postcard or a private sealed letter?
So here's the key difference. A GET request puts all its data right there in the URL. It's like writing your message on the back of a postcard for absolutely anyone to see. This is perfect for just asking for a public web page. A POST request, on the other hand, tucks its data inside the body of the message, just like a sealed letter. This is what we use for sensitive info, like when you submit a password or a contact form. It's just way more private.
And this brings us to a really crucial rule. Because the data in a GET request is totally visible in the URL, you should never ever use it for sensitive stuff like passwords or credit card numbers. For that, you always use the sealed letter, the POST request.
Okay, so our postcard or our sealed letter has been sent. Let's move to the second half of the conversation and see how the server puts together its answer. It's not quite as simple as just sending the web page back. See, before sending the actual content you asked for, the server sends back this tiny, super quick reply note. This is called the status code, and it's a 3-digit number that tells your browser how your request went. You can think of it as a quick, got it, or sorry, can't find that, before the full reply gets there.
Now, these codes fall into three main families that you've definitely seen before. Codes in the 200s, that means success. A 200 OK is what you get when a page loads perfectly. Codes in the 400s mean there was a client error, meaning you made a mistake. The classic 404 not found means you asked for something that just isn't there. And codes in the 500s, that means the server itself is having a problem.
Okay, so now that you know the basic grammar of this whole digital conversation, you can start to notice it happening all around you. You don't need any special tools or anything, just a little bit of quiet awareness. The next time you're just browsing around, just notice these little things. When you search on Google, look for that question mark in the URL. Yep, that's the start of your GET request. If you hit a dead link, just pause for a second on that 404 not found page and remember what it means. And when a page loads in a flash, just take a second to appreciate that silent, successful 200 OK conversation that made it happen. So really, the big takeaway here is this. The web isn't just a collection of static pages. It's a living, breathing thing. A constant and quiet conversation happening billions of times every second, all across the entire world.
It's just a simple back and forth, a request and a response, a language that builds our entire digital world. And now you understand how to listen in.